Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Maimuna Akhtar from School of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, Jamia Hamdard. Here we are going to discuss about the module Analysis of Heavy Metals in Water by Atomic Absorption Spectroscopy from paper Atomic Spectroscopy. After completing this module, you shall be able to understand analysis of water by atomic absorption spectroscopy. We'll be discussing brief introduction about atomic absorption spectroscopy, sample handling and preservation, instrument sensitivity, detection limits, and optimum concentration range for performing element detection in water by atomic absorption spectroscopy, how the standard stock solutions and various other working solutions are prepared, and analysis of different elements and limitation of atomic absorption spectroscopy in detection of some elements. Most metals present in water in the dissolved form can be determined by atomic absorption spectroscopy. Atomic absorption spectroscopy involves the study of absorption of radiant energy, usually in UV and visible region, by neutral atoms in the gaseous state. In an atomic absorption spectroscopy analysis, the element being determined must be reduced to the elemental state, vaporized and imposed in the beam of radiation from the light source. The process is most frequently accompanied by drawing a solution of the sample as a fine mist into a suitable flame. The flame thus serves as a function analogous to that of the cell and solution in conventional absorption spectroscopy. The absorption is measured at a selected wavelength which is characteristic for each individual element. The absorbance measured is proportional to the concentration, and analysis is carried out by comparing this absorption with that of known reference samples of same composition. Flame atomic absorption spectrometry is a simple, rapid, accurate, and highly specific technique with a high degree of freedom from interference. It consists essentially of the following components: a stable light source emitting the sharp resonance line of the element to be determined, a flame system into which the sample solution may be aspirated at a steady state and which is of sufficient temperature to produce an atomic vapor of the required species from the compounds present in the solution, a monochromator to isolate the resonance lines and focus it upon a photomultiplier, a photomultiplier to detect the intensity of light energy falling upon it, which is followed by facilities for simplification and readout. Shows you single beam atomic absorption spectrometer, a general schematic figure wherein you can see a light source which can be any hollow cathode lamp or EDL lamp, a chopper for selection of the wavelength, a sample cell, and a flame or furnace depending upon the technique used, a monochromator for again the selection of the wavelength, then detector, finally a readout system. Metals in water and wastewater may be present in following forms. It can be present in dissolved or filtrable metal, like those which can pass through 0.45 micrometer membrane, or it can be in the form of suspended or non-filtrable metal, which are more than 0.45 micrometer. There are also acid extractable metals. The concentration of metal in solution after treatment of an unfiltered sample with hot dilute mineral acid is acid extractable metal. And total metal is the concentration of metal in solution after vigorous digestion of an unfiltered sample, or the sum of the concentration of metals in both the dissolved and suspended fraction. For handling samples and preservations, impurities in reagent and laboratory apparatus, even dust in the laboratory environment, are potential source of contaminations. Positive or negative errors in the measurement of trace metals may be a contribution of contaminant from sample container through leaching or surface desorption, etc. Because of this particular attention is paid to the collection and treatment of the sample prior to analysis for metal. So the sample container, whether borosilicate glass, polyethylene, polypropylene or Teflon, should be thoroughly washed with detergent and tap water and then rinsed with nitric acid and tap water 1:1 ratio, hydrochloric acid and tap water 1:1 ratio, and finally with deionized distilled water, and specifically in that order. After sampling, the samples are preserved immediately by acidifying with concentrated nitric acid to pH less than 2 at approximately 4 degrees centigrade. The samples with metal concentrations of several milligram per liter are stable for up to 6 months, except for mercury, for which the limit is 38 days in glass and 14 days in plastic containers. For microgram per liter metal levels, the samples should be analyzed as soon as possible after collection. Samples containing mercury determination may be preserved by the addition of 2 ml of 200 mg per liter potassium dichromate solution prepared in 1:1 nitric acid per liter of sample. For samples containing high and variable concentrations, the dilute standard solution should contain similar concentrations of the major ions in the sample. If the sample matrix is complex and components cannot be matched accurately with standards, the method of standard addition should be used to correct for matrix interference effects. Now coming to preparation of standard solutions. It is not advisable to prepare standard stock solutions at all the time because that is time consuming and wastage of the material also. Stock solutions can be made as concentrated solutions and used when required by dilution method. Standards which bracket the expected sample concentration and are within the working range of the method should be employed. That means when you know the concentration range should be between, for example, 0.1 microliter to 10 microliter, a standard should be prepared according to that range only. Stock solutions of standards in concentration above 500 mg per liter and store them in a refrigerator and dilute them when required. So before analyzing any component, understanding instrument operation is important. In this case, the hollow cathode lamp is installed and set at the desired wavelength. Desired wavelength as per the element of interest. The oscillate width and lamp current at the value suggested in the manufacturer's instruction is adjusted. Warm the instrument until energy source becomes stable, that is roughly 10 to 20 minutes. The air acetylene burner is installed and burner is adjusted in head position. The air is turned on and flow is adjusted to that specified by the manufacturer to give maximum sensitivity for the metal being measured. And acetylene is started, flow is adjusted to a value and flame is ignited. The standard solution of the metal aspiration rate is adjusted by the nebulizer to obtain maximum sensitivity. Aspirate standard solution near the middle of the linear working range and adjust the burner vertically and horizontally to obtain maximum response. The instrument is now ready for operation. On completion of the analysis, extinguish flame by turning off first acetylene and then air. And it should be done in this order only so as to avoid backflow of the acetylene and catching of fire. However, there is difference between makes and models of atomic spectrometer, and so the manufacturer's instruction for each particular instrument should be followed carefully. For determinations involving the use of nitrous oxide, acetylene flame, proceed as in A to C above and then continue as follow. Install nitrous oxide acetylene burner and adjust burner head position. Turn on acetylene without igniting flame and adjust flow rate to specified value and then turn off acetylene. With both air and nitrous oxide supplies turned on, set the T-junction valve to the nitrous oxide and adjust flow rate to specified value. Turn the switching value to the air position and check that flow rate is the same. turn on acetylene and ignite to the bright yellow flame. With a rapid motion, turn switching valve to nitrous oxide. The flame should now have a red cone above the burner. If not, then adjust the flow of fuel to obtain a red cone. After ignition, allow the burner to come to thermal equilibrium before commencing experiment. Aspirate a standard solution of desired metal and adjust aspiration rate of the nebulizer to obtain maximum sensitivity. Aspirate standard solution near the middle of the linear working range and adjust the burner vertically and horizontally to obtain maximum response. The instrument is now ready for operation, and on completion of the analysis, the flame is extinguished by turning off the valve from nitrous oxide to air and then turning off the acetylene. This procedure eliminates the danger of flashback occurring on direct ignition or shutdown of nitrous oxide and acetylene. The scheme of analysis. The technique I am presenting here is currently employed by Water Quality Division of the National Institute of Water Research for determination of heavy metals by atomic absorption that are most commonly present in water and wastewater. Flame and vapor generation techniques have been preferred to flameless atomization method for reasons of simplicity, speed, and accuracy. Throughout the scheme, it has been assumed that all samples have been preserved by the addition of 10 ml of concentrated nitric acid per liter of sample. In case of calcium, magnesium, potassium, and sodium, an automated as well as manual method has been described. This technique can of course be adapted for use with the other metals determined by flame absorption. Determination of calcium, magnesium, potassium, and sodium by direct flame absorption method. Manual method and preparation of reagents. Cesium lanthanum interference suppressant solution is prepared, which contains a concentration of 10 gram per liter of cesium and 50 gram per liter of lanthanum. It is prepared by using 400 of HCl, adding it slowly and carefully to 117 gram of lanthanum oxide in a 2 liter Pyrex beaker. The mixture is stirred until lanthanum oxide is completely dissolved. And after that, cesium chloride 25.3 grams are added and the mixture is stirred again until all substance is dissolved. The solution is cooled and to it is added 800 ml of deionized distilled water, and ultimately the solution is made up to 2 liter. This is followed by the preparation of standard stock solution. A standard stock solution is a stock solution of metal which is then further used for analysis by preparing secondary stock solution or working standard. In general, a standard stock solution contains metal concentration 100 mg per liter. For preparation of working standard concentration of different elements, the concentration is given in the table below, wherein calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium is given in milligram per liter, and you have a standard sample number MS1 wherein no element is present. Then gradually the concentration of different elements is increased till you have a dilution of interest. The procedure to carry out the analysis of elements. First, we need to pre-treat the sample. The sample of water that is collected needs to be pre-treated by cesium and lanthanum. A 5 ml of cesium lanthanum solution, which is prepared as mentioned in the previous slide, is added to the sample and the total volume is made up to 50 ml. Then the solution of standard and sample is aspirated into the instrument as per the conditions stipulated by the manufacturer. The flame selected is air acetylene or nitrous oxide acetylene that depends upon the sample constitution. The concentration of each metal ion in the standard solution and sample is calculated and a calibration curve is obtained by plotting concentration of standard solution versus the corresponding absorption reading. A correction factor of 10 to 9 is applied to each result in order to allow the addition of cesium lanthanum solution. and then the concentration of the sample is read from the calibration plot. Automated method. In case of automated method, the concentration of cesium and lanthanum slightly varies from the manual method. The concentration are slightly higher. 11.7 grams per liter of cesium and 58.6 grams per liter of lanthanum are used for preparation of cesium-lanthanum interference suppressant solution. This can be done by dissolving 15 grams cesium chloride in hydrochloric acid and deionized water. For calcium-magnesium determination, lanthanum interference substance solution is prepared by dissolving 68.8 gram lanthanum oxide in hydrochloric acid and deionized distilled water. Standard stock solutions are prepared as similar, that is 100 milligrams per liter of solution. From this preparation of standard solutions is made, and in this case the cesium lanthanum are not added in the standard solutions. The procedure follows like: set up the manifold as shown in the figure for sodium and magnesium. You can do similarly for calcium and potassium. Set sampling and washing times and fill the sample plate. Aspirate the standard solutions and samples under the conditions as per manufacturer instructions. Record the absorbance value obtained as on a chart recorder, and then calculate the concentration of each metal ion from the calibration curve prepared. The determination of aluminum, boron, cadmium, chromium, cobalt, copper, iron, lead, and other elements in water by direct absorption method. The first preparation of reagent: cesium lanthanum interference suppressant solution. In 400 milliliter of concentrated HCl, 47 gram of lanthanum oxide is added in 2 liter Pyrex beaker. The mixture is stirred until lanthanum oxide is completely dissolved. It is followed by addition of 12.7 gram cesium chloride, and the mixture is again stirred until the cesium chloride is completely soluble. The mixture is cooled and it is diluted up to 2 liter with deionized water, first till 800 ml and final dilution to 2 liter with deionized water. The prepared solution contains 5 gram per liter cesium and 20 gram per liter lanthanum. The stock solutions are prepared again in the similar fashion. That means the metal concentration is 1000 milligram per liter. Then from the stock solution, various standard solutions are prepared, and secondary stock solutions are prepared from the standard solution by using stock solution 1000 milligram per liter of chromium, cobalt, copper, iron, lead, manganese, nickel and zinc, 100 ml each. Then standard stock solution 1000 milligram per liter, 20 ml, deionized water up to 1 liter. This solution contains 20 milligram per liter cadmium and 100 milligram per liter of chromium, cobalt, copper, iron, lead, manganese, nickel and zinc by using secondary stock solution 1 liter plus deionized distilled water 1 liter. This solution contains 2 milligram per liter cadmium and 10 milligram per liter chromium, cobalt, copper, iron, lead, manganese, nickel and zinc. This solution is prepared from secondary stock solution 1. Then the secondary stock solution 1 and 2 are used to make different working standards, and to each 2.5 ml nitric acid and 25 ml cesium lanthanum solution is added, and the final volume is made up to 250 ml with deionized distilled water. The standard working solutions like TS1, TS2, TS3, TS9, it depends upon the concentration required, and it is dictated by or used by depending upon volume of the secondary stock solution used and volume of secondary stock solution added. The extreme right two columns show you the concentration of cadmium and other metals in it. Barium standard solution. The secondary stock solution is prepared by using standard stock solution 1000 milligram per liter of barium 100 ml and deionized distilled water is added up to 1 liter. This solution contains 100 milligram per liter of barium. Similar dilutions are done to prepare working standard solutions for other elements. Silver standard solution. Secondary stock solution is prepared from standard stock solution 1000 mg per ml of silver 10 ml, adding deionized distilled water up to 1 liter. This solution prepared contains 10 mg per liter of silver. Similarly, dilutions of other concentrations are made from the working standard solution. Preparation of standard solution of aluminum. A secondary stock solution of aluminum is prepared by dissolving or taking 100 ml of standard stock solution 1000 mg per liter of aluminum, diluting it up to 1 liter by deionized distilled water. The prepared solution contains 100 mg per liter of aluminum. Pre-treatment of samples. In certain cases, pre-treatment of samples is required in order to avoid the interferences. In this case, 5 ml of cesium lanthanum solution to a clean, dry, standard volumetric flask is taken, and to it is added 50 ml of the sample or sample liquid solution. This step is omitted for silver determination because the sample is being aspirated directly. The procedure for recording the absorbance involves the aspiration of the standard and the sample solution under the conditions mentioned by the manufacturer. That means we have to follow each and every instruction the manufacturer has mentioned for determination of various elements. The choice of either the air acetylene and the nitrous oxide acetylene flame for chromium determination will be dependent on the sample constitution. That means in sample, is there any other element present or not, that will define which flame you should use. Then the concentration of each metal is calculated by the reference to the calibration curve. If you remember last few slides, we have prepared different dilutions for each element. So for each element, recording is done, absorption is noted down, and a calibration plot is made. From this calibration plot, the concentration of each metal ion is calculated. Except in case of silver determination, a correction factor of 10 to 9 should be applied to each result so that it allows for the addition of cesium lanthanum solution. Determination of arsenic and selenium by hydride generation. Here it is the limitation of the atomic absorption spectroscopy. That means they cannot be aspirating directly into the flame. Coming to preparation of reagents, a potassium iodide solution of 200 gram per liter is prepared. You can generally calculate by simply weighing potassium iodide and dissolving in deionized water and making volume up to 1 liter. A sodium borohydride solution is used 98%. You can procure that from the vendor. Standard stock solutions are prepared. As mentioned, a standard stock solution contains 1000 milligrams per liter of the element. Then from this standard stock solution, different secondary standard solutions are prepared by diluting 1 ml of the secondary standard solution up to 1 liter. The solution contains 1 milligram per liter arsenic and selenium, because we are very well aware that the limitations of arsenic are very low, that's in parts per million. So using following quantities of, as mentioned in table, quantities of secondary stock solutions to 100 ml standard volumetric flask, each containing 1 ml of nitric acid and deionized water made up to 100 ml, following concentrations will be obtained. Always prepare fresh set of standard solutions. You can keep a stock solution for some time, but whenever you are working, prepare a set of standard solution freshly for the calibration curve and note down the absorbance and calculate concentration. In this case also, pre-treatment of sample and standard solution. 10 ml of sample or standard solution are used, and to them are added 10 ml of 500 ml per liter hydrochloric acid. Separate portion of the sample and standard solutions are taken for arsenic and selenium determination. It is interesting in this case that arsenic needs to be reduced from arsenic pentavalent state to trivalent state, and similarly selenium needs to be reduced from sexavalent state to the quartet state. For reduction of arsenic from pentavalent state to trivalent state, Potassium iodide 200 mg per liter 1 ml is used and added to sample or standard. It is left for 50 minutes at room temperature, and if you want to do it fast, we can heat it for 50 degree for about 4 minutes, and normally reduction is done by that time. Cool the solution and use for the absorption. Selenium reduction can also be obtained by in this manner. However, in this case, the sample and standard needs to be heated till 70 degrees centigrade for 10 minutes before using. For recording the absorbance, the procedure followed is similar as in other cases. However, you need to connect to a hydride vapor generation SS3. The instrument operating parameters are set according to the manufacturer instructions, and it is connected to a hydride vapor generation SS3. The nitrogen supply regulator is set at 140 kilopascals, and acetylene and air flow are set to give a fuel-rich air-acetylene mixture, and fuel flow is adjusted so that flame has a primary zone, that is blue cone, between 2 to 3 mm high. Wait until the reaction is complete and record the absorbance. Calculate the concentration of arsenic and selenium in each sample by referring to the calibration curve obtained by plotting concentrations of standard solution versus the corresponding peak height. This is similarly done in other cases. In case where sample matrix is such that multiple peaks may be produced, linearity of the calibration curve as well as reproducibility and accuracy of the results may be significantly improved by using peak area measurement. It is also strongly recommended for all hydride determinations. Only inorganic arsenic and selenium are determined by this technique. If total, that is organic plus inorganic, arsenic or selenium is required, the organo-arsenic and organo-selenium species should first be converted to the inorganic form by means of a digestion procedure. Determination of mercury. In this case, cold vapor generation technique is used. Preparation of secondary standard stock solutions. This is again prepared by in the similar fashion, that is use of standard stock solution 1000 mg per liter of mercury 1 ml and diluting it up to 1 liter. The solution contains 1 mg per liter of mercury. Different dilutions are prepared by adding different quantities of mercury through using secondary stock solution and 2.5 ml nitric acid and diluting up to 250 ml with deionized distilled water. The reagents are prepared and used. Potassium permanganate solution 50 gram per liter is prepared by simply dissolving 50 gram potassium permanganate in 1 liter deionized distilled water. Potassium persulfate 50 gram per liter is prepared in similar manner. Sodium chloride hydroxyl amine sulfate solution 120 gram per liter is prepared by mixing 120 gram sodium chloride and 120 gram hydroxyl amine sulfate in deionized distilled water and making volume up to 1 liter. Stannous chloride solution 100 gram per liter is prepared by dissolving 100 gram stannous chloride in deionized distilled water 500 milliliter containing 50 ml HCl acid and dilute to 1 liter with ionized water. A piece of granulated tin is added so that the solution remains at the required strength as long as it is required. Then standard stock solution 1000 mg per liter is prepared as mentioned earlier. Pre-treatment of sample and standards is required and is done by taking 100 ml each of sample and standard solution and is added 10 ml 500 ml per liter sulfuric acid, 2.5 ml nitric acid, 15 ml of 50 gram per liter potassium permanganate solution. Then mixing each mixture and allowing them to stand for 15 minutes. If the color of the potassium permanganate disappears, add an additional known volume of the potassium permanganate solution, repeating if necessary until the color remains. After that, add 8 ml of 50 gram per liter potassium persulfate solution is added to each flask and heated for 2 hours on a water bath at 95 degrees centigrade. The mixtures are cooled to room temperature and 6 ml of 120 gram per liter sodium chloride hydroxylamine sulfate solution is added. Procedure: how to operate the system or record the absorbance. We have to set the operating parameters of the instrument and connect chart recorder according to the manufacturer's instructions, and connect the mercury vapor generation accessories as showed in the figure. Transfer by graduated cylinder 50 ml of treated sample or standard solution to the reaction vessel of the accessory and add 3 ml of 100 grams per liter stannous chloride solution. Immediately insert the bung assembly in the reaction vessel and stir the solution vigorously with the magnetic stirrer for 90 seconds. Simultaneously turn off the stirrer and turn on the air supply to the vessel. Record the absorbance obtained as peak height on the chart recorder. Calculate the concentration of mercury in each sample by reference to the calibration curve obtained by plotting concentration of the standard solution versus the corresponding peak heights. Total organic and inorganic mercury is determined by this technique. This slide shows you a vapor generation accessory in case of mercury determination. This consists of a reaction vessel, a bung, an inlet for air, and a connection to the absorption cell, and cold vapor of the outlet for the cold vapor, and a magnetic stirrer. So students, let's summarize what we have learned in this module. We have brushed up the basic principle of atomic absorption technique. We have discussed about the sample handling and preservation of samples for heavy metals determination in water. We have learned about the preparation of standard and working solutions, instrument operation in determination of certain elements, manual and automated method for determination of calcium, magnesium, potassium, and sodium. We also came across determination of aluminum, barium, cadmium, chromium, cobalt, copper, iron, lead, manganese, nickel, silver, and zinc. In addition to it, we also discussed arsenic and selenium determination by hydride generation method and mercury determination by cold vapor generation method. Thank you.